This is Detective Travis Lanning with the Sobel County Sheriff's Office. Today I'll be talking to you about cell phone safety and sexting. This course was put on at the parent-teacher conferences in the Pineville Middle School a couple weeks ago, and we felt that we should get this information out to more parents. So what is sexting? Sexting is the sharing of sexually explicit images, videos, or messages through electronic means via phone, tablets, computers, etc. In 2009, a survey was done that showed 1 in every 6 to 7 teens admit to sexting. On the bottom right-hand corner is a screenshot of a text message which is commonly seen how kids today are asking for nude images from their counterparts. A lot of bullying is being involved. So 80% of sexters are under the age of 18. 29% of teens think sexting is expected in a relationship now. 2 out of 5 young people don't tell their parents what they do online. I have a feeling that number is a lot higher than that, but that's what this statistic shows. And 51% of girls think sexting is a result of pressures from guys, which refers back to the bullying text message seen on the previous page. So what parents should know about sexting: 53% of girls are the ones who send sext messages. I thought that this was a little high. I was shocked that the guys aren't the ones with a higher percentage until I started looking back at the cell phone downloads that I've done, where what I'm seeing is oftentimes it's the guys asking for the nude or semi-nude images, and the girls are responding by sending the messages. So that percentage actually makes sense after I look back at what I've seen downloading cell phones. 20% of teens have sent or posted nude or semi-nude photos or videos of themselves. A lot of times these kids think that, it's okay, I'm just going to send a picture or video to my boyfriend or girlfriend, and it's not going to go anywhere else. Unfortunately, 17% of sexters share the messages they receive with others, and over half of those people share them not only with one person, but with multiple people. Another statistic that parents need to be aware of is that 15% of teens who have sent or posted nude or semi-nude images of themselves has sent them to people they've never even met, just people that they met online. So on the left-hand side of this page is a bulletin put out by the nationalonlinesafety.com. I would highly recommend all parents go to this website. They've got numerous publications about different apps to be looking for, how to talk to your kids about online safety, etc. This bulletin is just about what parents need to know about sexting. I would highly recommend going to that website and printing off these bulletins. On the right-hand side, often parents don't think that their kids are involved, or their kids are too young to be involved in sexting or sending pictures. But this statistic shows that 11% of young teenage girls ages 13 to 16 have sexted nude or semi-nude photos of themselves. So some common apps for chatting or sexting involve Kik, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Tinder, iDelete, Instagram. One of the new things with Instagram is they came out with the unsend messages, where you used to be able to only delete messages from your device for a conversation. This unsend message now deletes it not only from your device, but also it deletes it from whoever you sent the message to, their device. Facebook has a similar thing with private message settings, and there are countless apps out there, new apps coming out daily that are meant for teenagers to chat, and a lot of the online games that your kids are playing have built-in chat functions that are often used for sexting as well. So there's some hidden photo storage apps out there that are solely meant for concealing photographs, files, apps from parents or authority figures. So these kids are downloading these apps. The most common one that we've seen, it had a lot of news headlines, was a secret calculator app, where on the main screen of the phone, it looks like it's just another calculator. You open that app up, it actually functions like a calculator, but if you put in a PIN code, then it takes you to a hidden files folder where you can store all your images and other documents that you don't want anyone else to see. These are 5 apps that I found just when I was putting this presentation together. Like I said, you can go to the Play Store either in Google or Apple, or just type in a Google search for hidden storage apps and you'll see numerous results that pop up. These are just 5 that I picked for the presentation. So Snapchat, a lot of kids have it and they think it's safe because the images disappear after 10 seconds. Unfortunately, the app's nickname is the Sexting app, and the photos don't necessarily delete. Part of my job with the sheriff's office is recovering deleted information from cell phones. And what a lot of people don't understand is that these new phones are like computers, and so everything's stored in the file system. I might not be able to recover the actual photo, but oftentimes I can recover information about the photo showing that something was sent, etc. Kids often think that they're notified by Snapchat if the photo is being saved or screenshotted, which is true if it's done in the app. However, there are people who have made apps now that are solely designed to bypass that function. So you can open up a photo and record it, and the other person who sent the photo will never be notified that you sent the picture. One of those apps, I don't know the name of it, but it's solely designed to record your screen. So you open the app, starts recording whatever on the screen at the time, then you open up the Snapchat, open up the picture, you've got it saved, and the other person who sent it doesn't know. So up until 2 years ago, Wyoming was behind times regarding juveniles sending nude or semi-nude images to other students. Prior to 2 years ago, the only statute on the books was the child pornography statute, which I'll discuss in a minute. But 2 years ago, the legislature came out with Wyoming Statute 64305, which is dissemination or possession of a nude image of a minor by a minor. Disseminate means to sell, distribute, deliver, provide, publish, transmit, text, email, exhibit, or otherwise make available to another person, but does not include any action taken to notify a person in a position of authority of the existence of a nude image of a minor. Nude image means a photograph or video depicting a person's genitalia, perineum, anus, or pubic area, or the breast of a female. So the big thing in this statute is they added the breast of a female. Other sex statutes in state of Wyoming don't necessarily include the breast of a female. So subsection B, a minor is guilty of dissemination or possession of a nude image of a minor in the 3rd degree if he knowingly disseminates a nude image of himself or possesses a nude image of another minor who is at least 11 years of age, unless the minor inadvertently came into possession of the image and took reasonable steps to destroy the image or notify a person of authority of its existence. So they built in a defense into this statute for kids who might just receive an image that they didn't ask for, and then if they go notify either law enforcement or someone in authority that is there, they're not going to be held accountable, where the person who sent the image will be held accountable. Subsection C, a minor is guilty of dissemination of a nude image in the 2nd degree if he knowingly disseminates a nude image of another minor who is at least 11 years of age. Subsection D, a minor is guilty of dissemination or possession of a nude image of a minor in the 1st degree if with the intent to coerce, intimidate, torment, harass, or otherwise cause emotional distress to another minor, the minor disseminates or threatens to disseminate a nude image of another minor who is at least 11 years of age, or captures a nude image of another minor who is at least 11 years of age without the knowledge of the depicted minor. So this subsection is geared towards the bullying aspect. There's been a lot of headlines in the news over the past few years about kids who sent images and then were shamed and bullied, who then end up committing suicide. And then also there's been a lot of talk about students taking cell phones into locker rooms and other private areas, taking photographs of unsuspecting peers, and then posting and sharing those pictures. So that's what that subsection is meant for. So the penalties that are associated with this statute, subsection E, a minor convicted of violating subsection B is guilty of a status offense and may be fined not more than $250. Subsection F, a minor convicted of violating subsection C or D of this section is guilty of misdemeanor punishable by, so if it's violation of subsection C, fine not more than $500, imprisonment in a juvenile detention facility for not more than 3 months or both. And for subsection D, which is the bullying or taking photo of someone without their consent or knowing, is a fine of not more than $750, imprisonment in a juvenile detention facility for not more than 6 months or both. So Wyoming State Statute 64303 is the sexual exploitation of children, or commonly known as the child pornography statute. This statute was, like I said, was the only one on the books prior to a couple years ago, and a lot of prosecutors around the country didn't want to charge juveniles with this statute for manufacturing or possession of child pornography due to being at a felony level charge, and if convicted, the person has to register as a sex offender for life. So Wyoming finally caught up with times and made that other statute. Take a few minutes and you can look over what this statute means. The big point on this that we've been trying to educate parents and students on is if your student receives an image prior to the age of 18, but then after they turn 18, their phone comes into law enforcement hands, is downloaded. If those images are still on their device, they can and will be charged with sexual exploitation of children, because at that point they are in possession of child pornography. A lot of parents I've talked to think that either their kids are too young to be doing it or it doesn't happen in Sublette County. Unfortunately, that's not what I've seen. I've been charged with downloading and examining multiple cell phones from middle-aged students down to the ages of 11 and 12, and it's somewhat disturbing what we've seen on these phones. Kids in middle school talking about where to meet to have sex so they aren't caught. They know where to meet in family bathrooms, staircases, other public areas that don't have cameras. Kids have been talking about having anal sex so they don't lose their virginity, and then, there's been multiple cases of us dealing with middle school and high school age students sending nude or partial nude photographs. One case a couple years ago involved a middle school student who during school hours was going into the bathroom and taking nude photographs and sending them to adults. So the high school has been dealing with a lot of issues. One was where some students created a Google Drive account where they would invite their male buddies and give them the passcode to access the Google Drive account, and they would post nude pictures that they received from the girls in the high school. The goal of the students was to have a folder of nude images for each girl in high school by the time they graduated. After I started teaching this course, I spoke with some of the school administration and was informed that they've also done baseball type trading cards, that they took and printed nude images that they had received of females, and then they would trade other students to get that card from them. Facebook Messenger is often used, and we've seen multiple cases in Sublette County where it's been used for kids to send photographs and videos, including sending them to people that they had only met online. Dating websites such as Tinder, Plenty of Fish, Hot or Not are often used for sexting purposes and sending nude images. A lot of these websites or apps are meant for people 18 or older. However, kids just often select yes, they're 18 and are granted access. The problem is a lot of child sex predators know that kids are going to do this, and so they will access these websites as well and try and get these young people to send nude photographs to them, and then those photographs are often shared to the internet or the dark web with other child sex predators. So what to do as a parent? There's a lot of parental monitoring applications as well as safeguards out there. Some of them include Verizon Safeguard, Google Family. There's paid or free apps including Custodio, Life 360, Spy's Eye. I often get asked what's the best one or how do parents monitor their kids. Unfortunately, technology is such that there's not a lot of regulations on who can make apps or what the apps are designed for, and so someone will come up with an app to help parents, and then someone else will come up with an app to bypass that parental control. We've seen instances in the middle school where kids know exactly how to bypass their parents' control on their phone. So parents think that their kids are being monitored and safe and they don't have anything to worry about. Kids go to school, bypass the security functions, and look at whatever they want to look at on the phone, and parents are unsuspecting. So what can you do? Obviously, talk to your children about the dangers of sexting as well as the repercussions of sending or receiving nude photographs and videos. Monitor your child's activities on cell phones, tablets, and computers as best as you can. Technology is ever-changing, and you need to stay up on the newest, latest apps. I know a lot of parents don't have the time to go through the Google Play Store or the Apple iStore to see what apps are out there and what kids are doing. But kids have nothing but time, and that's what they're doing, or their buddies are finding these apps and sharing it. Unfortunately, law enforcement and even school administrators, by the time we find out what kids are using apps for and what apps they're actually using, oftentimes they've moved on to 2 or 3 different apps farther down the line than we're even aware about. Check your child's cloud accounts. We all know that the cell phone companies have made it easier for when you buy a new cell phone that you just back all your stuff up to the cloud, enter in your email and password, and all that stuff comes back down to your phone. Well, what better way for kids to hide stuff from their parents? Delete it from your phone, go home, parents go through their phone, don't see anything on there, and then the kids just pull it right back down from the cloud. Make sure you're researching the best monitoring services out there. They're ever changing. Like I said, daily there's new apps being added to the stores. The other thing I haven't touched on is if the Google Play Store and Apple iStore, they kind of monitor to a certain degree what apps are put on their sites to be downloaded. However, if a student knows how to jailbreak their iPhone or root their Android device, they have access to third-party app stores which aren't really monitored, and so they can download a lot of other stuff that there's no control over and no one really knows what's going on. So you need to make sure you understand what rooting and jailbreaking phones do. You can research it, and just because of technology and the internet, kids know how to do it, and there's a lot of YouTube tutorials on how for these individuals to root their phone or jailbreak their iPhones. So you also need to set rules and guidelines for electronic usage. How many parents let their kids take their phones to their bedroom at night with no regulations, and they think their kids are sleeping when they're actually up doing stuff on the internet. Parents often think that they set restrictions on their internet or Wi-Fi as far as what sites are safe and what can be looked at. There's stuff out there that kids know how to research and access to bypass those as well. So don't think that just because you click on the Google settings of restrict the pornography type sites, etc., that your kids aren't bypassing that and still accessing some of that stuff on the internet. There's even web browsers out there designed specifically to bypass those controls, and so you'll never know what your kid's necessarily looking at if they're using those type of web browsers. So just make sure that you're watching what your kids are using and what web type browser applications they have downloaded on their phones or computers. Does your child really need a new fancy smartphone, or will a phone without access to the internet suffice for now? We know that kids are going to get smartphones eventually, but do 11 and 12-year-olds really need a smartphone? Technology is here to stay. We as parents need to learn more about the devices we provide our children. I've seen it almost on a daily basis that these kids, they grow up dealing with the phones. They can teach all of us things about the phones that we don't know. Even me, I download and examine cell phones weekly at the sheriff's office, and there's stuff out there that I can go talk with a 10 or 11-year-old kid, and they can show me how to bypass stuff that I would have never known how to do. Here's my contact information. Feel free to contact me at any point, either by email at tlanning@substar.com or via phone that's on the screen. And I will do my best to answer any questions that you might have to keep your kids safe on their cell phone usage. I might not have the answer, but I'm part of a lot of different groups and law enforcement agencies to network and come up with answers. So if I don't have the answer for you, I will definitely try and get that for you. Thank you for your time.